And what's going on, guys? Straw Hat Brian. I'm back again here to deliver my One Piece chapter 896 review for you guys. If you haven't read it yet, suggest you do so now because spoilers going to be in this video, bro. And we got to talk about this chapter because it was awesome. It was awesome. It was a good conclusion. I love the way that things are going. Cover story, we got to talk about this cover story. Hydrogen he declared himself the captain of the new giant pirates. Good for you, Hydrogen. Didn't really get too much from you in Dressrosa, so I'm not even like a fan of you. I mean, like we saw him in the Big Mom flashback, him growing up in Elbaf, but I don't really care too much about Hydrogen. He hasn't really done anything, and I feel like the last cover story also didn't really tell us anything. So I'm not really excited too much for Hydrogen's story. It's not really doing anything for me. Leo's was all right. Hopefully both of their stories get more interesting. What made Leo's story interesting was the fact that he's like now going to be a escort for King Riku in the Reverie. So that's going to be awesome. The reveal of dwarves to the world at the Reverie. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be crazy, and that's going to cause massive issues, and I guarantee you they're going to talk about slavery, and all that's going to play into the abolishment of the Shichibukai, but that's a theory for another video. But let's talk about this chapter, bro, because chapter was pretty decent. So we open up with, we got the Charlotte children discussing whether Katakuri really lose or not to Luffy, and they're discussing that, you know, what is Luffy's game plan and trying to basically think the way that Luffy's probably thinking, and how would they fight in Luffy's situation against a fighter like Dogtooth. So, and for the most part, they called it pretty much right, you know, kidnap Brule so that you're able to freely move throughout Whole Cake Island. I think whatever island she's on, she's connected to all those mirrors, and whatever ships that are close by, it's a certain vicinity I feel like her powers range from. I don't think she can just like be on the other side of the world whenever she wants to. Like, that can't happen. So it's like her mirror world, I think, is limited only to how many mirrors are on an island. That's what I believe. Something like that. Kind of like the dude, Blueno's Door fruit. I don't believe he could just pop up anywhere. I don't think so. I don't think he could just go from island to island with just his devil fruit alone. I don't think his devil fruit's capable of that. Doflamingo's, yes, because he flies through his strings. I can see that. I can't see like dude just instant transmission, because then Blueno should have been the greatest character of all time, but he's not because he's Bud. So let's talk about characters that actually matter. So then story moves on. Sanji, he notices that, you know, there's a lot of strong fighters surrounding, you know, the only mirror that they're trying to use to their advantage, because they smashed all the other mirrors, so no other mirrors can be used to get to any other part of Whole Cake Island other than the singular mirror they have on Cocoa Island. So they did that, and now Sanji, he's also at the same time trying to say his goodbyes to Pudding. Pudding's having her moment, and Sanji just like, you know, hey, thank you for everything, and thank you for playing my wife, even though you probably weren't serious about all that stuff. And Pudding, you know, after all that, asks Sanji for one last wish, but I'm wondering, what could that pertain to? Like, is she really going to ask something that's too much of Sanji, or is Sanji going to really do something like really leave the crew for a short period of time just because of whatever? Because I would hate that. I'm tired of seeing the Straw Hats broken up. I need these guys together. I need these guys to be mixing and dealing with pirate problems. So how's Luffy going to be the Pirate King without a full crew, bruh? Like, this can't keep happening. So I'm hoping that whatever she does ask him pertains to maybe like eventually like him coming back and marrying her. And I could see that, like, at the end when we get that final panel One Piece, you got Sanji and Pudding together, and then maybe you finally get the Luffy Nami thing together, and then other stuff. But I don't see Luffy and Nami. I'm more for a Luffy and Boa Hancock. That's the side that I'm on. Personally, that's the side that I'm on. I ship those two guys together. So move on. Scene moves back over to Katakuri and Luffy. We see that they both deliver the final blow. Obviously, they both. Well, it looks like that Katakuri might have slightly grazed Luffy, and Luffy got a direct hit, but Luffy's still exhausted, taking damage. And so Luffy falls first that we see, and he falls through a crater, and then Katakuri falls. So then it's amazing because, like, holy crap. It's like, is this a draw? But then, there ain't no draws in One Piece. Well, yeah, no, there ain't no draws in One Piece. That's not happening. So my man's is just like we see that, like, yeah, dog, like, and I like this fight. My only thing is I kind of like in disappointed of the execution of the final blow, but I'm also kind of a little bit disappointed in Snake Man as well, only because I felt like we should have gotten way more. Like, I didn't really see a drastic difference in the abilities from Snake Man to Bound Man. It wasn't really too much, because, I mean, in Bound Man, he can use Culverin too. But, in Snake Man mode, I mean, obviously, yes, he is more agile, he's in a smaller form. But as far as technique-wise, I guess you would say, in utilization, I felt like subpar at best. But I'm thinking that maybe Oda is just giving us little previews, just a small previews, like, hey, this exists. Now I'm gonna just backtrack and just make you guys forget about it and pull something else out, and then bring this back and then have it be even stronger. I guarantee that's probably what's gonna happen. And so then the story moves back over, and we get big news. Morgan, and he's telling Mont Dior, if Luffy does manage to escape this whole situation and manages to hold out until the time that he says that he will hold out, this is gonna be big news. And then Mont Dior is like, bruh, that's not gonna happen. He's like, even if Gold D. Roger emerged from that mirror himself, he would not make it out alive. So he's banking on, like, this last line of defense, him calling in all of Big Mom's military strength and using them to just take down Straw Hat Luffy. They obviously know that Straw Hat Luffy's a big deal, and this is going to make news either way. So Big News Morgan is going to be one of the main reasons why the Straw Hat bounties are going to go up again. So scene moves over again. We get Capone. Capone, he's running away from Big Mom, and then he tells his family, he's like, yo, we might be from different parts of the world, but guess what? When we die, we gonna die together. And everybody else is kind of like, what are you saying? But I think Capone just kind of knows, like, this might be it. But I'm kind of sad, because if Capone really dies at the stake of, well, I guess it would make more sense, because if One Piece is going to be taking a darker tone, because think about it, these pirates kill each other and stuff. If this is to take place, it would line up with, like, actual piracy that has happened in, real life. But, if it doesn't, then, we get another great character, and I feel like he had so much going with Capone, with the underworld, and him, like, killing, like, a lot of the underworld mafia kings and all that. Like, he has a lot of story that I still want to know about. So you can't just, like, kill my man's off here by Big Mom. Like, if she leaves, like, a lot of his crew decimated and destroyed, yo, I would love that. And leave Capone, like, the sole surviving member or something like that. Yo, that'd be awesome. But I guarantee, like, Chiffon's probably going to sacrifice her. Capone's got to take care of Pez. And then he's probably going to want to come back and take on Big Mom. So I think that might be the loss that might happen. But then that'll also be sad. And where's Lola throughout all this? Like, what's up with the what's up on Lola? I don't think she's coming in. I think we might get Lola maybe later on, or even if that, maybe, but who knows at this point. But anyway, let's get back into it. So the scene also shifts to the Straw Hats, and the Straw Hats are kind of like somewhat down and like, yo, like, is Luffy really gonna make it on time? And like, come on, how can you count my man's Luffy out? He's got fate on his side, bruh. Like, he's got the luck of the gods. Like, he's out here. My boy Luffy is really out here. So scene shifts over again. Luffy emerges from the crater. We see Katakuri. He's like, lying down. And by the time Luffy, like, plops out of the crater fully, Katakuri is already looming over this dude like, yeah, what's up, bruh? And then asks him this simple question. He says, one day, will you come back to defeat Big Mom? And then he says, you bet. I'm going to be the Pirate King. And just states that. And then Katakuri just says, you know what? I guess you can see into the future. And dude just drops, falls flat on his back. Basically what Brule was foreshadowing, because, you know, he's never been knocked down before. Clearly got knocked down in this chapter twice at that. He dropped the first time. Well, he dropped on his face the first time, and then he dropped on his back the second time. So I think that was awesome. I think that was amazing. And I can't believe that Katakuri asked that. And I'm thinking that maybe Katakuri, and I kind of stated this, that maybe Katakuri would probably let Luffy live at his own expense. But now I'm thinking that maybe Katakuri's not that selfish, and maybe it's not about the rivalry with Luffy. Maybe he actually views Luffy as being strong enough to take down Big Mom and to change Totland. Because we see, and we haven't really got to see the full scope of it, but we see that there's darkness in Totland. And that stems from prejudice, from Dogtooth being ridiculed because of his face. His own sibling, I should say, Flambe, ridiculed him because of his face. We also had Pudding, her backstory. She was ridiculed by the townspeople for having a third eye. Where was Big Mom in any of these flashbacks? Bro, I don't even know. That's why a lot of these things are kind of like cut and dry, so we don't really understand the whole scope and the whole story, because I feel like Big Mom uses these tactics, like she's abusive in a way, like mentally, in order to keep her kids under her control. Because when she was crying after Brook and Luffy sliced up the Mother Caramel photo, she was saying, "Mama, Mama, why aren't they listening to me?" So I'm thinking like that. There's a big thing with that, but I don't really know what it is, because Oda's just being like Oda and just wants to add little detail, and then I'm going to wait 75 chapters to reveal what that one detail meant. That's Oda for you, and he just leaves us sitting here guessing. I really, really like this chapter. I'm going to rate it a solid 4.5 out of 5. It can't be a 5 out of 5 because, I mean, it was basically concluding everything, kind of wrapping everything up. But we know this is not done. Peckham shows up at the end with 5 minutes to spare, and I hate the disguise that Peckham is wearing. He has Brule, but I'm wondering, where did he get Brule, and how did Peckham go from where he was at with like Mont Dior, and now he's over here helping Luffy? And we already know, like, Peckham's is staking his life on the line. So is Peckham's for Straw Hat now? Because Peckham's, as like, where does loyalty really lie for Peckham? Because he was loyal to Big Mom, and now he's loyal to the Straw Hats because they saved Zoe. But I'm like, bro, like, really, like, where does your loyalty lie? I don't know. Because, like, you just basically full on betrayed your pirate captain, like, no big deal. But I'm also thinking, because Peckham's mentioned that he's doing it, you know, in Pedro's memory, but I'm also wondering, maybe is like, once he gets Luffy out of the mirror, like, will he take off the mask, reveal himself, transform into a Sulong, and thus what Jinbei foreshadowed, Peckham's will be the one to fight all the way up until the next morning, destroying nearly all of the Big Mom pirates, and thus killing himself, and Carrot joining the Straw Hats to fulfill Peckham's and Pedro's will. I'm calling that. That's a mini theory. Comment on that. I would love to know your thoughts. Overall, what I think of this chapter, again, it was really good. I love that we got the point of view from basically every character, wondering what was going on with Big Mom. If you were wondering what was going on with the Straw Hats, we kind of got that. We got all that. I'm just sad because where does the Germa and other characters like the Sun Pirates, where do they all tie in to this? Because I feel like their roles are not done yet. And I'm wondering, like, is CP0 ever going to show up? Or, like, what about the rest of the underground brokers that were there at the, you know, the wedding? You know, we see Big News Morgan, and I see Stussy, unless I'm just like not paying attention to the rest of the other characters. But like, what's up with them? Like, I need some stories. I need some details. Drug Pelko looked like a monster, bruh. I don't know. But this is my review of One Piece chapter 896. I hope you guys liked it. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more in case you want more great content. And you guys have a wonderful evening.